Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to Aroundtable, and thanks so much for tuning in. I love action movies, and I'm going to be talking about the next two installments, some of my favorite action franchises, and where I think they went wrong. I mean, some franchises are still around that I watch. Some of them have died and have a resurgence, like Predator and Alien. They're back, and I'm happy. These are some of my favorites. But there's some of them that have, I thought would still be around, still be as popular and popping out movies every couple of years, and we'd be going to the theater in droves. But some of these franchises, for one reason or another, have stalled. So here we are. I'm going to pick some of my favorites and where they've gone wrong or where they think they should change. First one up is the Terminator. This is the franchise that put James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger on the map. They propelled them into superstar status. This is a low budget sci fi movie that's, epic in concept but small in budget. And it accomplished everything it needed to do. It created this franchise that we still kind of talk about. And this is the one that started, and it's a very small budget movie, but it works on every level. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger who plays the Terminator, and I was in the theater during the first one. I was a very young kid, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was a bodybuilder at that time, he was no, I think he retired, but he's still huge. He is like in peak physical condition here. He looked like it said, it's an unstoppable killing machine. He's got one mission, that is to kill Sarah Connor so she cannot give birth to John Connor, the leader of the resistance. And he will stop at nothing to do it. This movie had a great mix of action, a tinge of horror, sci-fi. There's a love story, you know, Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese. I bought into them. I was so sad when by now we all know that Reese dies. He doesn't make it. But I was so disappointed. I thought, oh my God, we're never going to see them together. This is, like, I was devastated. I fell for I got hooked into the love story too, as much as I did the action, which is a sign of a great movie. But again, Arnold was the menacing, cold cat, but he was so huge. You're looking at him going, and then you're looking at Michael Biehn going, how are you gonna beat this guy? This is the part of I've always said of a good hero. He's only as good as the villain he's going up against. And Arnold in this one, again, the unstoppable killing machine. And he's huge, he's big, he smashes through things, he just kills everything in sight, doesn't care. He's relentless, and that's what made this movie so glorious. It was unstoppable, and you're going up. Kyle Reese is going up against the unstoppable killing machine. He's got to outsmart it. He's got to outthink it. He's got to do everything he can to try to stay ahead of this thing. And this is where the movie kind of goes awry, in my opinion, because then we have T2, which came out in 1991. And arguably, it is one of the greatest sequels of all time. James Cameron begins his obsession with pushing the boundaries of special effects to a level that we haven't seen. So the liquid metal of the Terminator at that time was mind blowing. So if you think Avatar is crazy now, this was the beginning. This was the infancy of his obsession with the special effects being pushed to another level. The liquid metal was incredible, and we all said, I remember hearing people gasping and going, "What?" All yours, you heard it. You heard it. We have never seen stuff like that. We were not expecting that leap from this small budget first one to this looked like a $300 million movie. At that time, we weren't expecting that. But what made this a great sequel is that all the characters kind of reinvented themselves. Linda Hamilton wasn't this helpless, waitress, trying to survive. She is now. She, of course, we see her. She's in an asylum, but she has become this warrior. She is ripped, strong. Her mind is powerful. She is everything that you would want for the mother of the leader of the resistance to be, and more. Arnold comes in and is now not the killing machine that we know. John Connor gives him commands of not to kill, which changes the landscape of this movie forever. So the Terminator that we knew is now the good guy and the savior and the father figure for John Connor. And as much as I love this movie, those changes, those leaps in the characters and the reinventions kind of hurt this franchise forever, because now there's nothing you can do that will shock us per se, because you have the ultimate killing machine that becomes the ultimate good guy. So with the next installments, next up I'm going to pick Dark Dark Fate. Interesting twist. It's the first one that's considered a direct sequel to the actually Terminator movies from James Cameron. So this is considered a sequel to T2. Linda Hamilton is back as a badass. You have, I think it's Mackenzie Davis, if I remember her name. She kind of plays a excuse me for looking at that. Mackenzie Davis. She plays a enhanced human that can go toe to toe for a limited amount of time against the Terminator. Interesting ideas. I like that. But again, Arnie comes out as this like a nice guy, and you're like, no, no, I want him badass, and that's what I miss. This is still good. It found again the right dynamic of action, a little bit of humor. It found that feel, that tone of the first two on this one. This is the only other movie that kind of matches the first two in tone and feel. Um, then I'm gonna have to pick Terminator Salvation for the idea that we're not doing another. Somebody goes back in time and Terminator's chasing them, and they got to survive, which would become the staple of this franchise and the only thing they can do with it. This is basically the story of John Connor. There are a few missteps with the direction. I thought that Christian Bale, as great as he is, doesn't really do much with this character. Which, when I heard he's playing, I said, "This is going to be the greatest Terminator since Terminator 2. It's going to be so awesome." A few mistakes in here, like I said. I'll mention once, I think, in another review, when Sam Worthington, who's a Terminator, kind of escapes the compound and sets off all these explosions. Skynet never comes to check it out, which I thought was odd, since it's hunting down the rest of the resistance, and there's flares and explosions and everything is going crazy, and not one drone from Skynet is coming to investigate. Thought that was a misstep. And there's another part where they go to this gas station, and all of a sudden there's this gigantic Terminator creature that rips the top of the gas station and grabs them. But as it's walking here, and the lookouts don't notice this gigantic Terminator walking around. I don't know how they missed that. There were so many missteps in that movie, but I like the idea that they decided to go against the grain and show the world of John Connor. Next up, T3. I thought Claire Danes was actually the outstanding character. She's playing the future wife of John Connor. I thought that the guy who played John Connor, Nick Stahl, didn't. I don't know why he got that part. I think he was just one of the hot actors at the time, and they said, "Here, give him a part in the franchise." Arnie is all right, but again, he's the good guy going against the female Terminator. Which, if you look at them, she doesn't look like she could really kick his ass, and she does. So it doesn't. You're sitting there going, "Man, he was the baddest guy, and now suddenly he's getting his ass handed to him." It just didn't work for me in that sense. It had potential. There's some entertaining parts to it, but overall. Now, Terminator Genesis, I thought, they kind of want to reboot the franchise. They go into an alternate timeline. Sarah kind of has, again, Arnie as her protector, which again is, I think, a mistake. He should be the bad guy hunting her down, But what really got me royally pissed, and which always will put this last. A lot of people put Terminator Salvation last. This will always come last for one. They had an interesting idea with the alternate timeline, but in the marketing campaign, when you there's a if you remember, like in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, that WTF moment of Darth Vader is actually Luke's father, and everybody, and I was in the theater, everybody had their mind blown. You had a moment here which you could have saved this franchise, where we find out that John Connor is now been compromised. He is now part of Skynet. He is like a Terminator. They showed that in the marketing, so you kind of went, that could have been such a great moment where you went, oh my god, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. And through the whole movie, you're like, you're gonna get backstabbed by John Connor. He's not the good guy in this movie. We know, the marketing told us. If you didn't tell us, I'm telling you, this movie would have done great box office. The franchise would have been saved. But the dumbest marketing campaign, giving away the biggest secret of the movie, and I think that just destroyed it. I know I walked in there going, okay, he's gonna betray them at one point. Here we go. Let's just wait it out. Let's just wait it out. Okay, here we go. If they ever decide to bring it back, find another actor who has that intensity, who can be cold and calculated, and make him the bad guy throughout the whole series. Maybe the last film, they kind of reprogram him to go against Skynet and say, hey. But if they can find somebody that can pull off this relentless, unfeeling killing machine as well as Arnie did, keep him the bad guy. That was the thrill of the movie. You had the relentless killing machine that became the teddy bear. So if I have my way, and if they ever make another one, and if they ever decide to restart, keep that bad guy. If you find somebody as intense again that can pull it off, keep that person as the bad guy. So the heroes are constantly fumbling, constantly on edge, constantly scrambling, constantly, worried if will they make it. So the audience worries that they make it. And that's my take on the Terminator franchise. You let me know what you think. Do you agree with my rankings of these films? I know some people say T2 is the best one, and I understand. But remember, I was there for the first one, and that has always been the most important impression is that first one. And it worked at every level like the other ones didn't. Share your rankings with me. Share your thoughts with me. I'd love to hear from you. This is my first installment of my favorite action franchises and what may have gone wrong with them. Share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you can, hit that like button and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. This is Steven from the Aroundtable with my first entry of my favorite action franchises. And I'll be seeing you really soon.